Hey everyone, if you've been enjoying this content so far, hit that follow button right now. Make sure notifications are on, so you know I'm going live. We do this 6 nights a week, right? And like we're giving you extra content, 3 subjects tonight. That was a surprise. But yes, if you've been enjoying what we're doing here, we're always streaming 6 nights a week. Come on by, check it out. Hit that follow button right now. ! social in chat. For our social media, we have Twitter where we tweet, YouTube where we have the VODs. Like, comment, subscribe if you missed anything. Go to YouTube. Reddit Thon. Thank you for 5 hot tier on gifts. That's really kind of you. Thank you. Go to our YouTube if you missed anything, and consider becoming a member. Right, hitting that join button, becoming a member, supporting us that way. And of course, Discord is the heart and soul of this community. We do everything on Discord, online, offline conversations, and our open panel, which will happen after this. Right after we have our second topic here. After that, then we will have an open panel where you, audience members, as you sitting at home, may join in. We'd love to have you. So stick around, and again, hit that follow button. All right, let's go to the next topic. Okay, Mark Cuban, well-known billionaire, has launched an online pharmacy that will supply Americans with drugs that are significantly cheaper than what they could find at a pharmacy. This has prompted talks on comparing the charity of the mega rich with the failures of government. Should we be grateful to billionaires for filling in holes in the social safety net that our government fails to? Should business ventures like this or charities be looked upon as a replacement for government action? Is the answer to the inequalities that Americans face more private investment? Yeah, so Mark Cuban does this pharmacy type thing. Looks like it'll be great for like whatever medicines he carries. It looks like he actually might be able to provide it at lower cost. Is this an answer, right? I'm one of those socialists who are like, get rid of all billionaires. Billionaires should not exist. That's my stance. But am I wrong on this? That can't be the case. No. That must be an answer. No, okay. But we'll explore this with our guests. Okay, opening statements. Let's keep it quick because again, short on time here, people. Let's go to Top Dolphin.
All right, I just want to start off by saying that Gambit got caught in 4K, and hopefully he does better on this one. Okay. But anyways, I think that like this is like it's really cool that Mark Cuban's doing this now. It's that he's found a sector of the market where he can find what is it? Not like what are they called? Off-brand prescription drugs. There's like a word for it, but I can't think of it. Generic? But he's taking generics, right? He's taking generics. That he can fund and at a profit, like distribute these at a much cheaper cost to like to consumers. And is it a substitute for like government programs? Like obviously not. Just because like a billionaire can provide a service that does something doesn't mean that we shouldn't like push for better government regulation and things, or that we shouldn't push for like in the case of like healthcare, like for government provided healthcare or something like that. But I don't think that means we need to shit on Mark Cuban and be like, oh no, billionaire like pretending to do something good or something like that. Billionaire is filling a need that's helping a lot of people, and we should say like that's like a good thing.
Okay. Joe Rogan also gets another $1. Says here's another Spotify $1 from Papa Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan, you're a cheap motherfucker if you only give me $2. Okay. All right. Using our PayPal button below. All right. I appreciate it, but like, step it up. Let's go to half-baked takes.
So I think in a system where we require the top 1%, and not all of them are billionaires, but the billionaires are in that 1%, to pay for 40% of the federal taxes that go towards, doing all this like social welfare programs we want to do. And we're not just going to all of a sudden ask people to stop paying taxes. I think it's really important that billionaires do more shit like what Mark Cuban is doing, especially considering that most of them don't actually donate that much money at the moment. I think it's like 39% of them only donate 1% or something small like that. So I just think we need shit like this, and for anybody on the left to criticize it and talk about how this is somehow evil just because, he might make a profit is just fucking, that is regressive.
Yes,
Yeah, so I scanned the article again. It said nothing about what Top Dolphin brought up. There's an 8-minute video that he sent. It seems to be the same concept of what the article says. If there's a certain timestamp in this 8-minute video, please do let me know. But I think
continues to not engage.
Everything y'all said was a complete lie. But on to this topic. I I think that luckily we do live in a capitalist system where people can take an idea and they can go and get investors or be an investor themselves, and they can take people, give them jobs, and they can manifest their ideas. I think that's a great thing. I think our country is incredibly divided. I think the idea that we would have some kumbaya, to have some national system that is going to support all of our best interests, is silly. So the idea that we're allowed to make wealth with our ideas and then push culture how we want, I think things like, I don't know, Jeff Bezos and Elon trying to go to space and the Tesla cars and blah, blah, blah. I think all of these things are wonderful inventions, and I'm happy that we live in a capitalist system that enables that.
Yeah.
Just like the Pfizer vaccine, I'm happy we live in a...
Overall, this isn't a bad thing. Obviously, it's not a solution. It's more of a, I don't know. Like, calling it a band-aid seems like crapping on it. No, it's actually a good thing he's doing generally. But we should still expect more from the system. Like, I hope people don't turn this into a reason why, like, we can't have some form of universal health care. Doesn't have to be single payer. We can have like a standard multi-payer system like the rest of the developed world. But yeah, no, I'm not mad at him. And billionaires doing good things is still good things.
Hey, DB.
And I'm not anti-billionaire.
Yeah, so what Bam said, this is great. But to what Prime said, you are wrong. Billionaires did nothing wrong. Mark Cuban's wonderful. Jeff Bezos, I'm buying his shit right now. Okay, I love billionaires, and this is one of the reasons.
Wow. Okay. All right. Well, kind of fight a frog tonight. Let's go to Sneaky.
No, Prime was right. Billionaires should not exist. It's definitely right about that. Anyway, I'm gonna have quite a hot take here. I feel like I'm gonna get a lot of flack for this, right? So I'm gonna say, charity is unethical. I believe charity is unethical. Now, defining charity by the act of voluntarily giving aid. So, I don't think it's necessarily unethical to voluntarily give aid, but I do think it's unethical to hold the position that aid should be given voluntarily. I think that we should have an obligation to give aid. I think helping other people should be obligatory. I think we should feel that this is like our duty. It's like a virtue that we must hold. I'm not really much of a virtue ethicist, but in this case, I think that's probably a good virtue for us to hold. And I think in the case of charity, although maybe voluntarily giving aid is an unethical act in itself, having the principle that aid should be given voluntarily prevents us from installing better resolutions to these issues. And I think that is just the case with this Mark Cuban thing. I don't think Mark Cuban is like bad or unethical for doing this. If anything, it's probably a good thing to provide cheaper drugs. But the broader issue is the fact that we view aid as it should be given voluntarily rather than obligatory.
Next. A4Andre or the dog, whichever one.
I brought the dog on because I thought my point would resonate more if it came from such an adorable voice. I wanted to go like pretty far left, but Sneaky Debate Man really stole my thunder there and said charity is like immoral or whatever the position was. So now I guess I can't go that far. Yeah, Prime is definitely right. Billionaires are problematic to say the least. I think, Bam, we've been vibing all day, but you didn't like the analogy of like a Band-Aid. So how about this? Let me know if you like this analogy. It's like if you have a wound and then you use the blood from that wound to give yourself a transfusion, is this like a good thing if you're putting your own blood back in your body? If greed creates a problem like high prescription prices, and then people sort of like the people who are the most greedy and have hoarded the most wealth or resources then sort of like hand out the Band-Aids or, you know, providing sort of like a little bit of aid. Is this like a solution? No. Is it good? I guess I'd still argue no. I mean, like, we should set up the systems to do this, and charity is not a solution for these like very large problems. Sorry if that was too long.
You're fine. Please, Robert.
So basically, the way I look at it is like these charities, they're a good thing, obviously. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but I think it shines a light on how our American health system is failing, that a billionaire needs to step in and help out the people. Like, you pay taxes every month or every week in your paycheck that is supposed to be given to the given to your representatives that are supposed to deal with these problems. And the fact that a billionaire has to come in and deal with this problem, I mean, good for him, Mark Cuban. Like, that's cool. I'm all for like the free market, but I think that healthcare is something that needs to be dealt with, because healthcare in this country is getting crazy. Like, it is out of control. The amount of money that you have to pay just to do like basic procedures is getting crazy. Insurance costs are out of control. Like, we got to figure something out.
Okay, up and down.
I think I agree that like aid should be necessary, but not like all aid. Like, I feel like taxes is that level of aid, and I feel like no one in America pays enough taxes. Even the poorest people in America probably don't pay enough taxes, like, because we're so interested in having our money on the front end, like having cash to pay for things. If we just paid into our tax pool and like better subsidized our like way of life, I think things would generally be more affordable. But like I said, people don't think like that. They want their money on the
Are we
front
done
end.
with opening statements?
Yeah.
Did you see the poorest people don't pay enough tax? I've agreed with you all night, and now we're not friends anymore. The poorest people don't pay enough tax.
I think everybody should pay. I like because most people, a big portion of the population, like
what would they
gets
pay
money back
taxes?
from the
What would they pay taxes with? The poorest people in this, they don't have the money to pay the taxes that you'd want them to pay. Right?
But I'm saying that it's not like money is just a concept we use to like trade for our resources. But I'm saying if everyone just pulled in like larger percentages of their money, we could subsidize more of our way of life. Like, people are interested in having money on the front end versus if we just funded things with taxes on the back end.
Let's argue later.
Do you think people poorly spend their money, or just are incapable of spending their money in an effective or an efficient way?
Yes, but it's not their fault. Like, I don't think that the average person is able to like responsibly.
Why did we see so much of like the stimulus check money go to things like rent and bills and past debts and collections and shit like that?
I don't think the point is like these people are like literally like idiots. They can't figure out how to spend their money properly. It's more like that when you don't have the capital to function efficiently, the inefficiencies are created. So for example, like if you have to pay 10 people to employ a field, right? You never can save up the money to buy a machine that can plow the field much quicker, right? So if you need that startup capital to be able to buy the machine that can plow the field.
I understand this, but if you're trying to help the lowest rung of society, typically that's done through actually giving them money and them having more money in their pocket and in their bank account rather than their ability to receive governmental services.
No, it's not more money, it's more buying power, right? And if they're paying more taxes, but they're actually getting a lot more for their taxes, i.e. cheaper food, cheaper housing, better healthcare, better schooling, then like this is actually like much better. It's not more money that they need, it's more buying power that they need. It just so happens that if you have a lot of money, you have a lot of buying power, and if you don't have a lot of money, you don't have a lot of buying power.
So other than subsidizing like basically the entire food industry, what industries would be improved by what you're advocating for?
Housing, schooling, travel, you name it, basically. Like,
I mean, the IRS is just way better at like, from what we put in and what we get out from the IRS. The IRS is way better at like allocating wealth than like it seems like the average population is. And that doesn't mean that markets aren't good, because I'm a capitalist, pro market type of person. But like the
IRS allocates wealth.
I would say our tax rates are too high now, so the money that people have at the moment is putting them at like a step back. So I don't know if I agree with you, but I'm saying the actual origin point is different. Like you're saying take more money away from them and give them more governmental like services. I'm saying no, I'd rather those people have more money in their pockets to spend on things they feel they need.
The issue is the people at the low, like, and maybe because I preface this with the people at the lower drink, which I still stand by, but it's not just about them. Even if like, because most of them don't pay any, like most people like, and I'm at this ring, like get tax returns like on from what we put in. So
me too, man.
There's So the reality of this is like,
So you think you should pay more?
even if they have, even with all their money, that's still not necessarily enough for them.
You want to pay more money in taxes,
Yeah.
Bam? Do you want to pay more money in taxes?
Personally,
Why?
yeah.
If I got more, if I got more out of it, yes. Because that's what I'm saying.
It's more buying power. That's what he wants, more buying power. He doesn't want more money, he wants more buying power.
But raising it on, the upper classes, that's going to actually have like way less impact on their lives. Those percentage of increase is going to have like noticeably less difference on their lives versus these percentage increases on the lower level. Absolutely is, unless you're perfectly allocating these resources. And
if we fund all the government services, who uses government services, right? It's not rich people using the bus, it's poor people using the bus.
I would agree with you,
but to gain a lot more from this.
Sneaky, I agree with you, but Bam said he wants to raise them on all levels, including the poor. And I wholeheartedly disagree with it. Would improve the lives of poor people to increase their taxes.
Wait, yes, because they would have more buying power, right? They'd have more access.
No, they wouldn't. You supplement it by going after the upper echelon.
Them too, yeah. It would go to the poor. Them would be like a lot more, yes. But I'm saying
them too, yeah.
But I'm just saying that like the concept of like I just think the way we do taxes in America, I just don't think we do enough.
Okay, I agree. I agree that the way that we do taxes is wrong, and that the fact that I have to like guess how much and use the tax service and pay money, and that's definitely a scam. Just tell me how much I owe or whatever, take it. But I like April's coming up quickly, and if you don't understand taxes, don't be embarrassed, but learn. And maybe this isn't you, Ben, but even if you got a return, you still paid taxes, right? And I think I agree with both Sneaky Debate Man and Half Base Takes. I think we can accomplish these in different ways. If I had to choose between giving people money and improving the services, I guess I would improve the services and not just give them money. But I definitely think maybe it's not dangerous. We on Twitch,
it's not just giving them money.
Yeah, sure. Well, universal basic income could, to be clear, universal basic income could be constructive, but maybe not. Whatever. I don't want to jump into that. Yeah. Let's stay away from that. But I do think it's particularly like dangerous to have the idea or share the idea that like we ought tax the people at the bottom. Like these people don't have the money. And when you said earlier that it was a social construct, money is a social construct, but the conditions that people live in, these are material conditions, and I don't think we can just say pay more. Like you're already at the bottom rung. Like someone who like sleeps in their car, I don't want more money from them. I don't think that is even worth talking about. I don't think that they have enough to help these systems in the way that they need to be, right?
I'm just saying we'll never be able to. Well, I'm just saying we'll never be able to like actually solve these issues. We'll never be able to solve these issues.
No, we can. We can solve the issues without them.
But what I'm saying is, I'm saying we'll never meet. I disagree. I don't think we'll ever be able to meaningfully solve the issues.
Wait, to be clear, you don't think?
I'm just let me tell you what I'm saying, because you know what I'm saying. I'm saying I don't think we'll ever be able to meaningfully solve these issues if the person that needs to pay more taxes is always the person that makes more than you.
No, we can't.
Because even the person that makes 200,000, like, no, it should be the millionaire. Even the millionaire, no, it should be the billionaire. Even the billionaire, no, it should be the Jeff Bezos billionaire.
No. Entirely, we can solve these issues with money from folks who have money. Is my point, right?
But I'm saying build coalition, saying like we'll all just pay a little bit more.
No, dude, we'll all pay a little bit more.
This kumbaya bullshit is like it'd be fine, but too many people are struggling, like severely struggling to eat.
We would still have like progressive tax bands though. You still have progressive tax bands, like like you said, like, oh, I don't think we should be asking someone who's sleeping in their car for more money, right? If the outcome of asking the person who's sleeping in their car for more money was that this person gets a government-provided house, that's a good thing. That is a good thing.
But if these
no, I really want to engage.
Nobody will pay taxes because nobody will get a wage.
I want to engage with Spoon because he's the most handsome person on this panel, and we haven't gone back and forth at all. Like, no, this is like, you literally are saying the person who sleeps in their car ought give more money to the system because eventually the system will take care of them. No, they're sleeping in their car. They do not have the resources to contribute to the system that you want to build that would take care of them. I think, in the condition or the situation that they're in, it is very important for them to have those resources until the system can support them. And in a utopian outcome, I would largely agree that then once they have their feet under them and the system can provide like housing and nutrition and things of this nature, then maybe we can talk about it. But you have to build the system. Okay.
I just agree. I just agree.
Wait, pause.
Until there are no tax brackets.
This is a real debate. I hear your point. Do you agree with this? I disagree with that. Do you agree with that? Shake hands. We're done. Show's over. You're welcome.
Agree.
Show is not
because
over.
he agreed with you.
Oh, sorry.
See ya. Bye, everybody.
So unless people end up agreeing with you, it's not a good debate and not a good conversation.
Yep, exactly.
No,
if you
he
do
said-
not agree with A4Andre and grift me some fucking subs,
God damn
it's
it.
my birthday, Gambit. Don't correct me again. I'm coming for that ass.
Come on, Gambit. He
I
literally
gifted you.
did not say that at all.
No,
He's
that's
saying it's
Gambit.
okay
Gambit
for your
we're
birthday.
family. Gambit and I are family. He knows it's love.
Hey,
And
yeah.
I say
one
fuck
thing-
you.
No, I know.
I
I'm
was
just
in.
saying,
I was in Andre's chat the other day. I gave money to help him buy Pokemon.
Not enough. Not
So,
enough, dude.
Yeah, Andre love you.
More.
We completely disagree politically, but I love my brother Andre for sure. Like, yeah. Don't read too much into me and him.
No, I know. I mean, I would hope nobody is actually like super mad at anybody.
Okay, sure.
I'm so
Kumbaya. All right,
angry.
bullshit.
I
Okay,
hate
let's
all
move
of
on.
you.
Yeah,
But
Yeah,
man,
look,
can
no,
you
angry
please
person.
expand? Can you please expand on the idea? Because it seems to me like the people you're talking about taxing have like a very small percentage of the wealth in this country in the first place, right? And they're using that small percentage of the wealth they have to like barely scrape by, right, with tons of debt most likely, right? So why would we tax them more or worry about taxing them more when they have so few of the money in the first fucking place, where all the money is on the other end that we could actually tax and make a difference?
It's impossible.
And
It's almost impossible.
it wouldn't even-
not
it
disrupt their
wouldn't
lives
help.
in like really negative way.
Yeah, it's almost impossible to imagine in the society we live in. But like applying this to an example, like everyone says that like if Walmart should pay a living wage, which generally I agree with. Like that's one way to solve the issue. But imagine if Walmart paid $10 an hour, and they just were a business who were interested in being a business, and then we taxed Walmart really heavy, and then on the back end, like the government subsidized poor people and like gave them an extra, not every person, but like on a needs-based thing. The mom who had 3 kids got an extra $2,000 check at the end of the month, and the kid who was 17 and just needs to go to the movies and lives with his parents got an extra $600 a month.
I want to incentivize the people who work 45 hours a week. They pick up extra time because they want that money. Like, the reason I don't want to take money away on the front end is because you're limiting people's like agency. Like you're not allowing people that like want to strive to have more to do so.
I mean, I was just being efficient at meeting people's material needs and building coalitions.
No, you're not. You're literally not, though. I'm not trying to be a dick. Because did you not hear me in the very beginning? I said that the top 1% gives, I think it's like 40% of federal taxes. So it wouldn't even help to tax the very bottom because it's not enough money. There's not even a lot of money being generated by raising their taxes.
But we haven't even set on like a hard number. I don't get why we're so hung up on this. I just think that everyone can,
because as a concept it's flawed, and we're just pointing out
it doesn't make any sense.
It's not flawed because there's not
even if it's even if you're taxing them like 0.5% more, right? Like
and if we got better
I find it weird. I find it weird that you won't bite the bullet of saying I don't want to tax the poor
because I think everyone should pay
more. I don't want to tax the poor more.
It's
I
a
don't want to
bias
tax the
to
poor
society.
more.
Everyone should pay taxes.
But bam. So they pay like sales taxes and shit, right? And gas taxes when they go fill up, right? So we're talking about.
Do you think we should lower those?
Sales taxes.
In some places, yeah, I think we should.
I don't know. I just
regressive forms of taxation.
But bam. So it's not. I don't think the issue that we're having here is that we like disagree with providing services to these people. Of course, we want to provide services to these people. I'm totally in favor of like a UBI system, right? And lots of other free shit. Free college, free housing, even universal health care, totally free, right? And for all those things, I don't think you need to go to the poorest people in the country and pick their pockets.
They're not the ones that's going to be paying for it. I'm saying that if again, this is just my philosophy. I don't believe you'll ever get anywhere saying that the person needs to pay taxes, the person that makes more than me, because everyone's going to say that. Like someone has to bite the bullet and say.
So you're talking about like a totally. You're saying that they won't agree. How
But-
is it useful?
Well, I
Matt,
think, I
So
just
they
think
have no money in the
everyone
first fucking place,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
you're doing this. Not only you're going to make
Because-
it less
because you're-
likely that this
because-
program passes, because now you're going to the majority of the
Right.
country.
Sneaky debate, man.
Trying to get them to pay more taxes.
Me. Like,
No,
it's
we
not about
need to acknowledge Andre's
Oh my
point.
God.
Right? We need to acknowledge Andre's point. If we just immediately do a tax hike on the poorest people in society, like we don't have these systems in place to accommodate
sure.
for the increased amount of taxes, right? All it's going to do is hurt them, right? So
Yeah.
these systems get built by initially taxing rich people more, right, and building in societies. And gradually the tax rate for everybody goes up, and then we enter like this society where basically you have all your needs provided for you, right, through the fact that taxes are really high, and then the rest of your income is like free to spend. So, for example,
we're not creating a new wheel. I was about to say a lot of my bad. I know a lot of like European countries and like Scandinavian countries, like they have higher tax rates than the United States.
much higher.
And-
Like for example, in England, we pay more taxes than you do in the US, generally speaking, right? I know it differs state by state, but like generally speaking, in England we pay higher taxes than in America, but we get way more for it. Like way more for it. Right? We have like universal healthcare, our schooling system is better, public transport is better. Like we just get way more.
There are
for
a
it.
lot of
It's not just
external.
billionaires.
There's
Like,
so
regular,
many
everyday people
external
pay more.
You know, I'm just an old
circumstances that
person.
make a country like America different and make it so. I don't know if you could set up these models in America.
You could definitely set it up state by state at least, right? And I know states determine their own tax policy.
I guess state taxes do fund a ton of like local projects, and that's where most people are seeing the fruits of government's labor. But at the end of the day, like for a nation to function properly, we need to have like federal a federal government that's being taxed properly or funded properly.
Yeah,
I have no idea how Florida survives without state taxes. That's
Well,
crazy.
they have bumped up taxes for shit like I don't know if it's sales tax, but they'll have like sin tax. They'll have higher rates on like or higher taxes on like when you buy a home. They'll have a bunch of taxes that they toss in. There's a bunch of ways that they can generate revenue.
Wait, so on the topic.
By the way, I just want to say you say like you don't know how Florida survives without taxes. Florida doesn't not survive without taxes. So they don't know. Florida takes state taxes. They don't take state income tax. It's only one type of tax. They still take sales tax. They still probably take a bunch of other types of taxes. You're specifically talking about state income tax. They're still collecting revenue.
Yeah, I knew. Maybe I was more specific. I knew that specifically. That's what I was saying. I just maybe I didn't put that word, but I wasn't uninformed on the fact that they still had other types of tax. Like I was specifically talking about income tax. I'm sorry for not.
Wait, so on the topic, so all of you guys agree then that Mark Cuban is basically a demigod, and this is a good thing, and there's no good.
He's
argument
based
against
as
it.
fuck. He's based on this thing. He is based as fuck.
Yeah, it's a good thing.
Wait,
Cool.
Mark Cuban, Pokemon's kind of loud. Mark Cuban is based, and this is a good thing.
It-
the charity.
Goddamn.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah, well, I'm wondering if any of you guys think this is a bad thing.
I think that it could be because I feel like
I'll say it's a bad thing.
gives. I don't think it's a bad thing. Like it's not Mark Cuban's fault, but I
I'll
feel
say it's a bad
like people are gonna use this as it gives like a systemic excuse not to solve the problem.
Sneaky, why is it bad?
But Bam, they're not blaming the system or like going at the system. They're like going at Mark Cuban and saying that he himself and this company are doing something wrong. They're calling it compassionate capitalism. And
No,
it's,
I'm
like,
not saying that,
treated-
but I'm saying that
I-
like
I'm
people
saying
think that like charities
Sneaky.
should solve these issues. I'm saying that they shouldn't.
Sneaky,
Like,
why
so
do you think
that's
it's a bad thing?
Well, in principle, just because like somebody's willing to be less exploitative, provide you with a service that's slightly better through the fact that they're less exploitative than the alternative, doesn't mean that in the end they're just they're not still exploiting a fundamentally broken system, right? So like, I understand it's a preferable alternative, but it's still bad at its root.
Yeah, I mean, like an
I
example
don't know.
being if there was like a guy that went around feeding all the homeless people in the city, and he did that like every day. He used all his money to feed all the homeless people. The city would have less of an interest in solving the homeless food crisis because now they have something that's kind of in place.
Not just that, but what if his greed was what if he was hoarding all the food and then he's feeding folks? You're talking about like this is Robin Hood, but like he takes from the poor to give to the poor. A billionaire has to exploit to get to this position to provide that privilege. So I think.
Oh no, Andre, don't do
No.
it.
Okay,
I don't know. I just feel like he just owns a bad policy.
By its very nature, becoming a billionaire means you exploited.
Yeah. Well, I mean, how else do you accrue this much wealth? Billions, right?
A lot of times,
Yes,
happens
but
generationally.
I'm gonna
right?
stop us
Sure,
now.
sure.
I have a strong inkling that me and you are just gonna vehemently
Probably.
disagree on what
Probably.
exploitation is, right?
Yeah, that's fair.
Yes.
That's fair.
Yeah, I also think that concept of like billionaires, like even under like your definition, I think that's only gonna be true for like the next 4 years because like we're definitely Patrick Mahomes just signed a $500 million deal, and
Go,
whenever it runs out, he's
Got his
probably
ass
gonna
beat.
sign another $500 million deal. Like
I'm
so, he'll
vibing
be a
now.
billionaire as an athlete without any level of like.
I gotta admit,
exploitation.
I'm vibing right now. Half based. Oh, I like that. Half based takes. We just shook hands.
Half-based.
Agree to disagree, and we moved on. I'm hoping I'm getting it right this time. Does your question suggest that you think that Mark Cuban is not exploiting or isn't causing a problem that he's fixing? Or
I think that if you think of capitalism, it's not Dobby. If you think of capitalism as a system that requires exploitation, right, to operate, and I understand the arguments for that, right? Why you'd call work in general, employment in general, or generating profit in capitalism like a form of exploitation, right? I understand that. I don't agree with it. But if that's your frame of reference, I can understand why you'd call it exploitation or say that it's like a bad thing. Because I think if you're working from that framework, then the only way that he could do this and not be doing a bad thing, right, even if it's less bad, is if he were like just giving it away, right? You were giving away all this shit.
No, even then.
And then even then you say that, oh, well, he has the
That's-
resources to get the stuff to give it away because he's a billionaire and he exploited all these people to get there.
I would go
Yeah,
back to my
dude, he
ethical
stepped
position.
on way too many ants on his way to the top.
No, I would go back to my ethical position that it shouldn't be given voluntarily. It should be obligatory, which is like.
See, I'm so
confused.
confused by
Leave
when you
Roadman
say
out.
this. When you say obligatory, how much are you just saying? Like, isn't that what taxes are?
Yeah, I think taxes are virtuous. Yeah.
See, that's where I stood. Because I
Man,
feel like every time you walk past a homeless person, you shouldn't be obligated to give them whatever
biggest
money
brain in the room, right there.
Well, homeless people are selling shit just like everybody else. Homeless people sell like good fifis that you get when you give them money.
True.
Roadman, what do you think about Mark Cuban?
I've said what I said. I mean, Mark Cuban is a good guy. He's a billionaire. Like everybody wants to label him as like a bad guy, I guess. But I'm not the type of person who says that a billionaire is evil because he became a billionaire. I think everybody was born into the society that we live in. You have to basically, the cards you're dealt, you got to play the game. You know what I mean? And he played the game, and this is the society we're living in.
Sure.
He did it better than everybody else.
What if I so I'm not biting the bullet, and I won't, that he acquired this wealth ethically, but like if I did bite that bullet and I still said, even if you were to acquire this ethically or virtuously, then like what about the argument that it's just too much, that they're like limited resources, and if you sit on a pile too large, that other people you create have nots, like to have billions, someone has to have none. Do you think that this is the case, or am I being
I don't think to have billions, others have to have none. I think if you have a bunch of money, you can use that money to create jobs. And this is not like a trickle down economics type thing where I'm saying like, oh, he's going to give all his money to people. But what I'm saying is like, to create these businesses and to create a society that is going to advance, you have to have movers and shakers, like Elon Musk, like somebody who's going to continue on this society. You know what I mean? Like a Jeff Bezos. Yeah, he's evil, but he's created Amazon. Amazon itself. Hold on. Amazon itself is a big company. It employs a bunch of people. Obviously, it's not like the best wages, and everybody's not living fair. But if you really look at it, like 20 years ago, or not, maybe 200 years ago, how people were living and how we're living today is definitely like the average low person is living a king's life.
Andre,
you know what I mean?
Sure,
Andre,
but
I wholeheartedly disagree with the idea that billionaires are just sitting on this pile of cash like
they are. They're
fucking
dragons.
Scrooge.
Pokemon
No, like
dragons.
Scrooge McDuck. They're not diving into a pile of gold coins and shit.
No, they literally are. Like,
Yeah.
No, they're not.
and-
Because
and-
listen,
No,
I know
full-
everybody
full-
fucking
full-
shits
a
on
while
Amazon.
ago.
I hate Amazon as much as the next guy. My sister works there. It's not a great place for people to work. But nobody ever talks about like the fact that Amazon allows for millions of small businesses to operate and become profitable and become even more successful. And then also Amazon and all these massive companies and just people who have wealth invest that wealth into. And I know, again, it's not a trickle down economics thing. This is just the reality of a market system.
Yeah.
People want
They're actually
to make,
much
people
worse.
want to make more money.
Yes. So wait. I'm sorry. I'll be super quick, and then someone else can hop in. The idea that like you're like, well, this thing is evil, but it does create jobs. Well, this thing is bad, but it does help small businesses. No,
Why is it evil?
no.
Why is it-
I didn't
No,
say,
that was
nobody said it was
wasn't
evil.
that
Nobody
wasn't
said
that
it
your
was evil.
point? I think you
Me?
even said this is evil.
Me?
But you
What's the
said
alternative? What's
the
the
alternative?
alternative?
The alternative is
alternative?
people own their work. When they work, they're paid a fair wage. They're valued for their time and can live a good life. This is the alternative, right?
Who
This
defines
is
fair
a
wage?
this is a
building a rift.
mutually agreed upon contract. These people that work at these jobs,
Yeah.
right? They
No.
are
You
unusual.
don't have consent. You
It's not
can't.
unusual.
There's
That's
at
a little
no
reach.
point do you get to say like, well, minimum wage is good enough, or no. I personally think minimum wage is not enough, so I will reject this system and starve to death. Right? You don't get to say that this is fair or not. You
No,
don't
you-
ever get.
The
don't
You'd
get
implication.
go on unemployment. You'd go on unemployment insurance and live a shitty life, but a life nonetheless.
Okay,
my
let me
point,
respond to 3 things that were said real quick. Number one, number one, like I think that I thought he was gonna make my point, and then he like went left. I'm not really interested in Amazon isn't helpful because it like helps people start up their businesses. It's not about the business owners. It's the fact that every one of us in here use Amazon and we like it, and we like the fact that we can get anything shipped to us in 2 days. We think that's really cool, really convenient.
I mean,
And
yeah,
the
but
concept of waiting like 7 to 10 days is like generally BS nowadays.
damn, I'm a nerd, so I do care about the macro, like having companies benefiting America's macroeconomic like stature.
No, I mean, sure. Like, I mean, I'm not saying that wasn't legitimate. I'm just saying that, like, the reality is we like Amazon. Not like, I mean, maybe you shop at Amazon because it helps small businesses. I shop at Amazon because they have almost any product I can think of. It's super convenient, and I can get to my house really fast.
This is just a
Shouldn't Jeff
non-point.
Bezos
All
be
right, ma'am,
rewarded
this is a
for having such
non-point.
an awesome product?
Yes.
Shouldn't he be rewarded?
Wait, hold on,
for
let
that?
me 2 more points, and then you can y'all can destroy me. Yeah. The second point I want to make is the fact that like being a billionaire. Well, like almost none of these billionaires, although they have cash, obviously, like everyone in here is really smart. We know that they don't have billions of dollars. They own something that's valued at this amount that they could never sell for that value of money. Like Jeff Bezos can't sell Amazon for $100 billion. He doesn't like.
Not
There's no
anymore.
$100 billion to give it to him. Like
They could
for
give it to
anyone
him
to
in
pay.
stocks, though. They could
Yeah,
give it
I
to him
mean-
in stocks, and then he could sell those stocks.
But I'm saying those are stocks. I'm saying if he
He could
sells
sell those
stocks,
stocks, right?
if he sells those stocks, they're no
Yeah.
longer going to be worth what those stocks are because
It's
Amazon.
not
Jeff
really-
Bezos
Yeah,
makes
but
them.
he himself could collect on this. No,
No, but it's not liquid cash, is what he's saying basically.
Yes.
Yeah,
it
I'm
could
saying
become liquid cash.
not for Jeff Bezos. If Jeff Bezos can't
If
sell
Jeff,
Amazon,
if Jeff Bezos, it would cause a run on the fucking market. But if Jeff Bezos fucking was like, "Fuck it, guys, I'm selling all my," they would immediately get bought, I think. But if he sold them off, he would receive that liquid cash. Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
not-
but-
I don't think there is a
This
liquid
is not
cash.
important to argue about.
But
That's
it
not
is.
billionaires.
And a conglomerate would buy it, not just one person.
It's
Yeah.
on saying if billionaires like saying that billionaires like shouldn't exist. Like this is the point. It's super important because billionaires don't have $1 billion. They just own stuff. They just own own
That's
businesses.
not. Oh my God.
That's my point.
Okay.
That's my point, though. They're
No,
investing
sorry.
in
I got to move on.
That's why they have
We have a
assets.
limited amount of time. We got to move on, right? So we got to go to Top Dolphin, and then we'll go to Spoon afterwards, right? But fuck. What was the dog shit point that I wanted to respond to really quickly? Yeah, these billionaires. Not all of them are Jeff Bezos. Let's get that. Let's be done with that point, right? Not all of them are Jeff Bezos. Not all of them are creating something useful. You can argue that Jeff Bezos has created something useful, whether it's a good thing useful or bad useful. But like, it's useful, right? For society. Not everyone does that, right? You can become
Mavericks, smart
a billionaire without adding any actually real value into the economy, right? That's the thing that can happen. So let's go to Top Dolphin and Sneak Debate Man.
Oh,
I
so
don't
the,
like them.
the thing I wanted to say was Bam was like, oh, the reason we like Amazon is because they provide a good service. there's like a big difference between liking the services that Amazon provides and liking Amazon as a company. Just like you might like the services that a company you work for provides, but you might not like working for that company. You can have different opinions on different companies in different capacities.
But I'm saying that all those complaints mean nothing if the like using the services wins out. Like that, I'm not saying that you can't have those opinions, but I'm saying that they mean nothing because you literally can't take them to the bank because you're still going to benefit from those services.
Because you live in a society, you cannot criticize.
Yeah,
no, this isn't a society. Amazon is not a requirement to live into society. Shopping with Amazon is not like a means of survival.
Right, but firstly, billionaires don't obtain liquid cash by selling stocks, right? They take out loans borrowed against their stocks, right? And because the value of their stock is high and keeps increasing, they can afford to take out these massive loans because obviously the loaners know that their stock is going to appreciate in value, right? Amazon stock is just going to keep going up and up and up because it's essentially got a monopoly. Anyway, as a small tension breaker point, Andre made the point earlier that billionaires are like gold hoarding dragons. It's not actually true, all right? They're actually much worse than gold hoarding dragons. And Forbes did an article on this a while back, and they said estimating the size of Smaug, the literal gold hoarding dragon who lives in a mountain full of gold in Lord of the Rings, estimating the size of Smaug, the size of his mountain, the amount of gold he's got, Jeff Bezos is actually thousands of times richer than Smaug based on the current value of gold. So they're like actually way worse than gold hoarding dragons. And it is true that like there is a finite amount of cash in the system, right? And if you have billions and billions of dollars of it, it does mean that somebody else can't do it. And this, like, what this does is it creates an inequality, right? It stagnates money. When the velocity of money is low, we get massive inflation, and that's why inflation over previous years is going up, and that's why we're having to print more and more money so that people have money to spend, and it just goes straight to the top and sits there and stays still. Right? This money does need to move. It does need to move away from the billionaires in order to stimulate the economy.
Nikki, this is simply the fixed pie fallacy. There isn't a set amount of money in the world.
Yeah.
We can generate new forms of wealth, and look at something like the iPhone. One product then generated apps, which then created a whole new industry, which made a ton of people rich. So
yes, I know that money all funnels to the top, right? And when it gets to the top, it stagnates there, right? Because people get very, very rich and they sit on top of their richness, and they stay rich by using things like borrowing against their stocks to maintain their wealth, right? And in order to have people at the bottom to have money to spend, more money needs to be printed.
No, but they don't just sit on money like a gold coin and they literally
do.
By the way, money that exists in stocks isn't just sitting, right? Because that money is invested, right? So it is being used to further other things in the economy. I agree. Now I agree with you that we should. There are ways that we can tax rich people and take some of the resources they have and more effectively distribute them to the rest of the population to meet the needs, and sometimes even more than the needs of the people who can't do it themselves or aren't doing it themselves.
Like they borrow against their stock, right? That's how they obtain liquid cash. That's how they obtain spending money to buy their fucking yachts and shit, right? So and they need these stocks. They need this massive portfolio of stocks to be able to take out these massive loans.
Sneaky,
right?
you do understand that those stocks represent money, right?
Yes, I know they represent money.
Okay.
Money that belongs to them, and they're sitting on it.
What are they doing with that money?
That money that belongs to them is being invested in the company that they that the stocks belong to, right?
Yes, I know, but the investments, the dividends paid by those investments goes straight back into the value of those stocks, and that's why they're able to take out loans on them.
What are they doing?
And also taking out loans on money, right? No bank gives out loans that they don't take profit off of, right?
Yeah,
so then
the profit is generated by the appreciation in the value of the stocks.
What are they doing?
Generated through the interest that they charge on the loan.
Yes, I know, but that's what I mean. That interest, right? That interest is able to be paid.
You keep saying but then you keep saying after I correct you. I don't understand.
Okay, right. So, the bank obviously makes money on loans by charging interest, right? So how does a billionaire pay that interest when they take out the loan, right? Their stock value appreciates, right? Their stocks are worth more than when they took the loan out, right? Thus, they've made money, right? Thus, when they pay back the loan, they have the money to pay back the interest because their stocks have appreciated.
What if the stocks go down?
It doesn't happen. It literally just doesn't happen.
It doesn't have stocks don't
That's
go down.
not true.
No, I know stocks do.
You're
go
right,
down,
man.
but
Stocks
the point
never
is-
go down.
I know stocks do go down, but the point is these are so secure. Like the stocks in Amazon and Google and Apple are so secure that like banks are fully willing to give massive loans out on these things, knowing that these stocks will go back up even if they do go down.
But you're just saying that they're sitting on the money, basically, right? And they're taking loans out to get the money. But my question is, what are they doing with the money then? If they're taking these loans out, they're putting it back into the economy. They're using it for investments. Maybe he buys a boat. He buys a yacht. The guy who builds a yacht
I know.
is getting
agree.
some type of benefit from it. So what are you talking about?
I agree,
No.
right? So a portion of the money that they spend with this like liquid loan or this liquid asset, right, it does go back into the economy, right? But like generally speaking, that just goes straight back up to the top where somebody else is engaging in the same kind of process. Sorry.
But you said that they're getting all the wealth, basically, is what you.
Yes,
claim.
the wealth travels towards the top, right?
Okay, but what is that? But then the top spends it on other things, on services. They go out to eat. They go, to, go
Yes,
to
I
a
know.
restaurant or whatever. But like, I don't understand. I don't
Yes,
understand your point.
it conglomerates at the top, right? That's how you're able to become a billionaire because the amount you
Sneaky.
put back into the economy is not the same as the amount you take out of the economy.
Nikki, we're not economists, so I don't think should we even have this conversation, dude? It
I
almost
feel
seems irresponsible to have this conversation.
Hold on, we were talking about
I'm
vaccines.
kidding. I'm memeing. I'm fucking memeing. I'm memeing. I'm sorry.
That's the joke.
Sorry, I didn't get it.
My bad. It was
Yeah,
It's
like,
too
like,
much.
like,
just checking
Revolt Rise,
it.
like Revolt Rise just said it in chat, right? When poor people spend money, the velocity of money is higher, right? When rich people spend money, the velocity is much slower. That money stagnates, which is what I've been saying. Right? When poor people get money, they spend it straight away. When rich people get money, they don't have to spend it straight away.
Yeah.
So they don't.
So to be fair, you're correct, but the velocity is not zero, right?
No, but it is very low, right? And that
It's
like low,
lower.
Well, it's lower, but the point is, it's sufficiently low to the point where inflation is caused by it.
Inflation is caused by spending more money.
I don't think that's the
What?
case. I don't think that's the case.
No, yes, it's exactly the case. What are you talking about? If you're spending more money, if more money is entering the monetary system, then you're going to have prices increase because of that
No.
Roman.
Money entering the system and
Roman,
spending are different.
Yeah, I could be wrong on this. I'm not very well versed in this shit, but from my understanding, you just have to have more money can be put into the system, but there has to be like a resource that's attached to that is fungible that can generate more revenue.
No, but like that's specifically why the world is currently in debt, right? Because we have created money when there is nothing to actually back up that money.
I know. I was talking about inflation. We were talking about inflation.
Talk about inflation.
If anything,
We
it's
were
the
talking
lack
about
of spending.
inflation. We're not.
So
No,
we have
so-
a bill. We have a bill that gives $3 trillion that just is created from the Fed out of thin air. That is money that's being created, being pushed into the economy. That is causing inflation. That's what I'm talking about. Is there's more spending being involved, and that's causing prices to go up. I don't understand how you guys don't understand.
No,
this.
no,
Not
no,
really.
no.
If
So spending-
anything, it's
hold
the
on.
opposite.
That's-
Because like the reason we're actually in the middle of inflation right now is because people were home and we weren't spending. Like
Yes, spending is good, and the velocity of poor folks spending their money is much higher. If I do not have a lot of money and I spend 90% of my income on rent, groceries, and whatever car and expenses, this is like all of my money going out, and this is economically good. If a rich person buys a yacht, they're not spending 95% of their income on yachts and groceries, right? So that money becomes stagnant and slower. This causes inflation, not the reverse. It's not the
Yes.
spending, it's the hoarding. It's the dragon, not the poor folks.
Thank you, Andre. Right? It's like
I mean,
if you were to- if you were
inflation.
to, like-
To condense inflation down into simply that is just. I don't think that's fair.
Well, no,
like
I
I
know there are
said,
many factors that cause inflation, but this is like one of them. Wealth inequality is one of them.
Well, yeah, I was going to say, well, you kept saying Roadman is wrong. I don't think
Yeah,
he's entirely wrong. I think that is just another. I think you were both saying ways that that inflation could be caused.
Sorry, Roadman, could you repeat your point?
What I'm saying is, okay, so we all got $2,000 checks, right? So in the basic economics of supply and demand, if I know that everybody around me has $2,000 and I'm selling apples, I can jack my prices a little bit up more because you've all got more money, right? I'm trying to make it as basic as possible. So the more money that is injected into the system, For example, if you create a higher minimum wage, now it's $15 an hour, everybody's getting $15 an hour. That means that the companies are going to have to pay more money to their employees to work, which means they are going to have to charge more money for their products to gain a profit. So the inflation, which the cost of goods, the inflation is going to go up. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, I don't.
Well, yes, I understand what you're saying, but I disagree with the principle, right? So, to obtain the same amount of profit as they previously were when they were paying their employees less, they have to charge more for their products, right? But they can charge the same for their products, pay their employees more, and generate less profit, right? Like in this scenario, employees having higher wages so they can spend that money and generate economic activity with their higher velocity of money, right? That is good, rather than the profit or just stagnating at the top, right? That's exactly what we don't want. If we keep that profit high by just like doing that, that will cause inflation. If the profit goes down, but people have more money to spend and they spend more money more frequently, then inflation will not occur.
There's really rich people who are like high up in businesses that don't have large profit margins. Like they themselves make a lot of money for their like stock value or whatever. But like there's a lot of industries where there isn't much wiggle room as far as like it being less profitable before that business can no longer like exist.
Kind of, not really though. I mean, profits generally profits are like relatively like similar throughout.
But no,
most,
having a profit doesn't necessarily mean that profit margin was high. You can make like I could tell you I made $1 billion last year, and you would say like, oh, you made a bunch of profit. But if I had to spend 100 billion to make 1 billion, then no, I didn't make much profit.
Yeah, but okay. So if I agree with you. There are industries where profit margins are lower and higher, right? But like overall, profit margins are like relatively the same. Because like if profit margins were always like so let's say I could build watches and I could put $1 in and get $100 out, or I could build iPhones and put $80 in and get $100 out, right? Everyone would just build watches, and then the supply for watches would go down, and then it would equalize, right?
Yeah, but like to say that profit margins is the only thing that like it's always driving it. Like there are a lot of companies that operate under.
Sorry, we're just talking about inflation and like. I don't care. I wanna. So I'm gonna just jump back into this with my man GSU Gambit. Gambit, I wanted to have this conversation with you, and maybe we'll just have to continue on this open panel if you have time for that, because this is quite what I wanted to do. Talking about whether this action by Mark Cuban is a problem, or sorry, it's a viable solution, right? I think like on its own, in a vacuum, what Mark Cuban's doing is great, right? People will be helped. If it works as intended, well, then that's fantastic. Like lower drug prices, that's great. My problem is when you had texted or DM'd me, right? Saying that we should be grateful for like the largesse of billionaires, right? Grateful for their charity, for their crumbs that rain down from their mouths, right? Now, that's where I have a problem. What we should be focusing on is then those billionaires do everything they can to make building a social safety net impossible, right? So we can have the government do this, and the government would be far more efficient at it, and the government could make it fucking free. I mean, if they wanted to, right? And help even more people. We could do that, but people like I'm assuming Mark Cuban. I don't know enough about like his voting habits and spending habits, but I would be very much willing to guess that Mark Cuban has made it more difficult for these big social programs that might cost him personally a lot of money, right? I would guess that he doesn't interfere with that, and for that I'm not grateful for. I'm not grateful that billionaires they are fine with spending money, but it has to be at their direction rather than by like democratic standards, which is what we do when we tax, right? We take that money and then we spend it democratically, right? We decide what our priorities are from there. But instead, we should be grateful that they have decided on their own, right? That, the ballet is the thing that needs to be supported, right? This is the most important thing within our society, and this is the thing that should be should get my money, right? And then we are grateful for them, right? Like, that's my problem.
So, to push back a little bit on that, right? And this Gambit wants to go first, I guess.
Yeah. Gambit hasn't yet to talk, but I would love to hear you too, Tom.
Yeah, I mean, I've been quiet because this whole conversation has just been kind of pointless. But like the thing is, we collect more in taxes than almost all nations, their GDP. Like y'all memed about, we need to tax the rich more and all these other things. The problem is we have a unique problem in America where one is the way that our government allocates the money that they do collect. But another problem is we don't have an interested voting base or population that is willing to help everybody. Like we had free college and all of these type of things in the past, just, kind of when they allow Black people to go, then all of a sudden these things went away. Our problems in this country are due to people not wanting to support out groups and the way that our government spends. It's not that we need to collect more in taxes. We collect somewhere between 3 and 5 billion. There's like 3 countries, China, the US, and India, that their entire GDP is more than 5 trillion, not 5 billion, 5 trillion. So it's not a problem of like, we just need to give the government more money and they're going to do things. The problem is the people that are being elected to represent these ideas don't want to do these things, and that's why we don't have them. We could have all of these things that y'all are going to meme about this whole entire conversation, but the reality is the people that are being voted into Congress don't want these things, and like we have a stagnant Congress where they don't work with each other. There's the Republicans, there's the Democrats. Neither of them agree on absolutely anything. So like it's laughable to say that our Congress that's split on everything and passes no legislation, and we have to do executive orders every 5 minutes to say that, those people just need more money. It's not the truth. The problem is we have a problem with people supporting groups that are different than them, and that's like the basis for all of these problems that y'all are talking about.
I mean, I guess I
not
agree.
Billionaires.
I mean, I think billionaires help. Certain billionaires, the more politically active ones, can actively help try to expand those chasms, right? Like the way conservative billionaires, right? There's a few of them spend their money specifically in the political realm, specifically when it comes to YouTube, right? To give money to the Candace Owens of the world, right? To the Turning Point USA's, right? To target individuals and to specifically like push an ideology. An ideology that says that billionaires are great. That part's important. That part's paramount, right? But also one that pushes like racial grievances, right? So like, TPUSA and like there was that infamous moment where TPUSA was like, doing their college campus things, right? And they had, if I'm remembering the story correctly, they had like these stalls or something, right? And they put out a memo to their individuals to, say like, here's how you should behave at these different stalls when you're interacting with people. It's like, and a quote was, don't Jew hate just cause, right? Like these are the type of people are being funded by these individuals.
The revenue of Turning Point USA is $39 million. Which is not a lot.
That's all.
Can I respond to
that's a
something?
Huge amount. Hold on 1 second. No, that's a huge amount, but it doesn't matter. The point is that these so billionaires like have a stake in all that, right? So they can advance. But to get to your point, right? Talking about the government, I mean, I agree that our government right now is actually broken. Again, I think that billionaires have a hand in that. I think they have a hand in trying to push certain candidates rather than others, right? Using their immense resources to do that. To push certain narratives, certain priorities, right? Especially within one party rather than the other. But even then, the Democratic Party has been kind of taken over by money.
It's easy for you to like. when we sit here and just blame billionaires, everything's easy. Like the reality is, you even had like Andrew Yang running on the Democratic ticket. You had Bernie Sanders running about reducing prescription drug prices, and the American electorate didn't support these people. That's not because of billionaires. That's because there are people that don't want to support groups that aren't them. That's just the reality. We have a very individualized country, which I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing at all, but people don't want to support others. They rather see others hurt than help everybody. If they have to help everybody, but it also helps their fellow man that they don't like, then they aren't for it. And y'all do it with y'all meme about them vaccinated and blah blah blah. Like y'all all participate in this nonsense. So like to act like it's the fault of the billionaires is not. It's the
Not everything.
opinions
Not
that
everything is
the
a fault.
majority of our country hold. Where if you're a part of an out group, I don't want to help you. That's the problem,
Not
and that's
every-
what creates our Congress.
Not everything is the fault of the billionaires. Not everything, like, it's not like before we had wealth is immense that we didn't have any divisions in this nation. That's absolutely not the case, right? I'm stating that they are part of it. I think they benefit from it. I think they recognize that. And I think they actually fund it themselves, right? I think to a certain extent. However, does every billionaire do that? No. Is that the sum total of like the divisions in this country all brought to you by your local billionaire? Absolutely not. But we can recognize like the advantages and the benefits where they lie, right? We just give credit where it's due, right? And give blame. But beyond that, you're saying that, yeah. I mean, that they our politics are divided, and it seems it's just so like so I give up. Is that like where?
No,
where
I'm not giving up. That's why I like people like Elon that are like, hey, there's problems that our government isn't going to solve, so I'll help out. Like we have, like college was free in this country until the '60s. Why do you think it was the '60s where they were like, we can't do this free college shit anymore?
What?
Like the things that y'all are talking about at past points in our history, when our world was less free, we had those things. When we opened up our world to more people, they were like, hey, all right, we're not giving black people this free college shit. Like, no, we finna start charging for this shit. Like, these are the things that happen. People don't want to support their out groups.
I actually agree with that. The only thing you said earlier that I would disagree with is the idea of the government having enough money. Like, it doesn't matter what total number of what total number they spend in taxes. It's the percentage in GDP per capita. Like, and America is actually pretty far behind a lot of first world countries in that. It's not about us spending $5 billion. We're a bigger country. We should spend more, and we need to spend more per citizen. But I do think it's an issue with how
it's very low, 10% below the average even.
Hold on, wait. You're talking about the government expenditure percent of GDP?
No, that I just put that in there, but which is also true. But I think GDP isn't even enough. It should be GDP per capita. I just pulled up the first thing I seen to show that we weren't actually high. Yeah,
the thing is, like, it's complicated because we have it's complicated because we do have inefficient systems and a bunch of other things. So like you're looking at this through the lens of what we have now, and I'm saying that we could have far better systems. It's just that we don't, and then that causes some of the blow, especially like in healthcare and stuff like that. Like
we could be more efficient.
We could have more efficient systems on the money that we collect. We have more efficient systems on the money we collect. Absolutely. The reason why we don't is because of in-group bias, for sure, without question.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. Yeah, I think people do put too much overblow on the billionaires.
And it's not just that; it's also military, industrial complex, and all of those things as well. Like the way that we spend money is also flawed.
We still spend more domestically. We spend more on ourselves than we do on our military.
Yeah, I'm not. Well, I can't remember the breakdown. I'm not saying that we don't spend on ourselves, though. I'm saying that if we reconfigure the way that we spend money, potentially we could have better things. And that's why I'm happy that people like Elon Musk and blah, blah, blah see these problems. And they're like, hey, I'm going to donate my personal wealth to help this problem because our government is not incompetent, but just split on everything. So since there's not going to be progress from the government, I'll help out. And we think the removal of them will somehow fix all of our sociological problems, and it's laughable.
Is that 6
Why are you
billion for world
exaggerating?
hunger? Where'd that figure come from?
Why are you Why are you exaggerating? Why, that's the part.
What am I exaggerating?
Why that? If we get rid of the billionaires, it will fix all our sociological problems. Who said that? Point them out. Which one said that?
Y'all talked the entire first like 45 minutes of this conversation saying, yeah, we just need to tax the billionaires more and we'll have everything. Like I literally didn't talk. You can go back and rewatch the first 45 minutes of this. That's what y'all talking
They were
about.
talking about paying for social programs. Paying for social, yes, you can.
Yes, and I'm saying that's laughable. I'm saying just because you tax people more doesn't mean we're gonna have legislation that implements the programs y'all are talking about. Given that we have $3 to $5 trillion in taxes right now, and we don't have those things.
I mean, if we
that's because that money is going other places, right? So necessarily, if we passed a law that said we're going to implement this social program, and the way we're going to implement the social, well, yeah, but but your argument is that we also wouldn't pass to raise taxes as well. We're not going to just like raise taxes, right? Like you rate, like the purpose of raising taxes is to fund the social program, and if we want to fund additional social programs without cutting programs or cutting spending that we have now, because like all that money, you say like the money is inefficiently used, but like all that money goes somewhere, and if we take it away, right, we which I think we should in some cases. I think like the military probably could pay less money could use less money, and there's efficiency issues there, but without taking money away from other things, the only way to get social programs funded is through taxes and through passing tax legislation and social programs, right?
It's crazy how unpopular cutting military spending is. Like, you hear on the internet, you would think that everyone thinks that we should cut military spending, but it's maybe like one of the most unpopular things the president could ever do is cut military spending. Like, you don't support the troops. Like, I don't know. I was shocked when I seen the numbers. Like, everybody, like, one of the best things the president can do is fund the military more.
Yeah, I mean, it's not all that easy, right? Like, I am making it seem a little bit more easy than it is. We have things like the Ukraine and Russia thing, and do we want to financially invest to help the Ukraine, right? So it's easy for me to say, hey, we should just cut military spending, but there's factors of that. Are we willing to say that there are other countries that are going to be invaded, taken over, blah, 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 if we don't help them? And the reality is, if we want better things, then those might be things that we have to do.
I mean, the US can cut its military spending, but a lot of people are like, we'll just completely defund the US military, which is absolutely a bad thing, right? The US is like
for sure.
the military that like Europe uses as well. Like when Germany needs an army, they ask the US to like send in some people. They're like, hey, can you defend Ukraine for me, please? Like, and like pretty much all of Europe does that. Like that's why the US is in Ukraine. Well, it's
and that's
Ukraine, right? So
but everything you're saying is why it's laughable. But this is why it's laughable,
right? These are not diametrically opposed positions, right? They can cut the spending because they do egregiously overspend on the military.
But this is why it's laughable when y'all point.
It's also ridiculous.
This is why it's laughable when y'all point to places like in Europe or blah 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 that have better social programs. The reason why those people have better social programs is because the U.S. is defending them, and they don't have to spend as much in defense.
If we became, they spend bigger sections share of their GDP on their stuff.
The U.S. could spend less on defense as well, right? The U.S. overspends.
No, I'm not saying that we can't. No, remember, I said that we should. I'm not saying that we can't. I'm just saying that if we do that, these other nations that y'all look at as like the bastion of what the hell we should do, those people would incur costs that would degrade their systems, if not change them completely. And I'm not saying that we...
Okay, again, right, so Gambit, I understand like other countries spend less on defense, right? And the US spends more on defense proportionally to like cover them, right? I understand that. But the US can still spend less than they currently do on defense, still defend other countries, and use that money to fund other...
And the US also spends the highest percentage of our GDP of any country on healthcare. Like it's not even like we can't afford to. We spend more than every other country.
Prioritize preventative care and reactionary care.
No, I mean I don't disagree with that, but I'm saying like pushing back against your point of saying that like the reason they can afford to do so. No, America currently spends more, like a bigger percentage of our money on healthcare.
Wait, saying that America has inefficiencies doesn't do anything against the point that if we materially invested less internationally, those people will have to fight their own battles and they will have to spend more of their GDP. Those are not
like the vast majority of what the US spends on like the military is like standing troops
Yeah.
and like R&D and like maintenance, right?
Yeah,
You could cut like loads of that out and still have like a very big military.
So we outspend the next. We're the largest spender, and we outspend the next. Like I think it's like 25 countries combined. And if we lowered our spending, it wouldn't negatively impact them because 20 of them are already allies. Like we wouldn't need to. We could decrease, they could decrease, we could all like decrease spending. At least these large nations that are close to us in military spending, it wouldn't affect their outcomes.
But even as chat saying, the military is the U.S.'s like biggest social job program. Like which I mean, you can say that's a problem in and of itself.
Yes.
But like that's
this is true, and also maybe not so much the military as a whole, but the Navy is so crucial though, like keeping like global shipping lanes open and allowing for like trade to flow.
I'm okay with like the U.S. military existing and them spending a bunch of money on it, but they're spending like just too much on it. Simple as that, right? They can
So I kind of want to dig into something that Gambit said a little bit earlier. And when he said like there's a lot of inefficiencies in which we spend the money in the United States. When you say that, I'm not sure exactly what you mean. Because what I think you mean, right, is when there's an inefficiency in spending something, that means that necessarily we could reach the same output with less money, right? If it's inefficient.
Yes, something like
right?
healthcare. Yes,
So
if we did
more
things for preventative healthcare, the cost would be less because healthy people cost less than unhealthy people.
So if there's inefficiencies in like our government defense spending, for example, couldn't we spend less money on defense but still remain the presence that we have in other nations?
I'm not saying that that's not within the realm of possibility. I don't know how. So that like the inefficiencies that I see in like defense spending is the contractors that we pay, because I used to work. I shouldn't say this, Pop, but I have been involved with DoD contracts, and I can see how inefficient the process is of people submitting to become prime. What is it called? Prime. I can't think of the name, but they're like prime contract holders, and then how they inefficiently like spend the money, and they are forced to like spend all of the money even if they don't really need it, because giving it back means that you're inefficient, so it's less likely to get contracts in the future. There's a lot of inefficiency in the way that we do DoD nationally, like stateside. But I don't know how much is inefficient when you talk about how we internationally support others.
Yeah, but so necessary. Like if we decrease the budget, right, and then that money doesn't necessarily have to come from foreign aid, right? It could come from some of the spending that happens inefficiently in R&D or contracting and stuff like that.
So problem is we pretty much run out of time, unfortunately. But we can continue on this welcome panel if you guys want. Like I really want to get more into this conversation. We kind of got a bit lost in the sauce here, but there's more interesting stuff to talk about. Especially you, Gambit, if you want to stop by, definitely want to continue on this. Okay, to my audience though, we're not done with the stream. There's still more streaming. There's more content for you, as is always the case. Right, unfortunately for my sleep schedule, it's always the case. Right, we have more content for you. All right, so first of all, hit that follow button. If you've been done so before, come over, hit that follow button right now. Make sure notifications are on so you know I'm going live. !social my chat. For our social media, we have the Twitter, where we do the tweets. We have the Discord, where we do everything, including the open panel. Right, the open panel will be in the Discord. You want to be a part of it? There's a place to join in, and we have a growing community. We want you to be a part of that as well. YouTube is where you find the VODs. If you missed anything, like, comment, subscribe, and consider becoming a YouTube member, hitting that join button, and supporting the channel that way as well. Okay, thank you so much. We are going to continue on. I'm going to give an exit to all these amazing individuals. Right? We'll start with, and after that, we'll still have more content. So don't leave. We'll start with Top Dolphin. Top Dolphin, thanks for being here. Always happy to have you around, my friend. And when you're ready to fight, you never disappoint. So how you doing?
I'm doing good. Yeah, I wish I got to talk about something else, but another day, another time, I guess, or maybe in the open. But I'm glad to be here. It's nice to be here with all these very nice and warm faces, especially when I live in the deep, deep freezing tundra that is Ohio. I want to get the fuck out of this place. But while I'm here, it's nice to be able to do things with people. When I'm literally snowed into my apartment. But thanks for having me here, Prime. I guess people can follow me on Twitter, probably twitter.com/topdolphin_. I also stream twitch.tv/topdolphin. I'm just glad to be here, and I mean, great conversations. I've been really busy lately, and I've kind of missed this, so I was happy that I was able to make it today.
Awesome. Yeah, we missed you. We have Half Baked Takes. Half Baked Takes, thanks again for coming through. Really liked having you around. We want to have more of you. You've got some interesting takes. They're wrong, but you know, well, I have time to correct you. So Half Baked, thanks.
Appreciate it. I really do. Thank you for letting me come on and do this shit. It's really fun. Thank you to everybody else that was on the panel. Yeah, you can find me at Half Baked Takes on most shit. There you go.
All right. Moving on. GSU. Yeah, but man, did I love the fight. I'm always happy when it happens, right? We can have a bit of a disagreement because otherwise we agree. You know, we like, you know, we get along with each other, but that's kind of fucking boring. So again,
Yes. I agree.
thank you so much for coming through and starting that fight with us, and hopefully we can continue that fight until we walk on panel, please.
Yeah, so I don't want to reference anything from the dates, bro. One thing that I want everyone to remember: if you're somebody sitting in a chat right now, or if you're somebody on this panel, and you think in any way that you're more knowledgeable on any topic that we disagree on, you can hit me up for a one-on-one conversation. The problem that I have with panels is, a lot of the time what happens is somebody makes some really reductive or some really stupid point, but due to the nature of there being like a ton of people involved, it can't actually be addressed. You don't have that type of protection in a one-on-one conversation, or if you're one of the chat monsters that's just screaming my name in chat. So if you are somebody who think you're knowledgeable enough to take me on in a conversation over something we disagree on, you have an open invite to my DMs on Discord, and you know where to find me. Cool. That's it.
All right. Thank you for the bits that came through. A few bits. Thank you so much for 600 bits from Naritas, and thank you, D Learning, for gifting us up your very first sub. Thanks so much. If we get another person who starts off a hype train, wouldn't that be amazing? Another individual tipper. All right. Thanks so much. Next we have Bam. You weren't the only one with a bad take today, so that's interesting. Bam.
I've never given a bad take in my life.
Okay.
I've never been wrong, not even once. I'm still waiting for the day to come. But yeah, no, another pretty good panel. I've met a lot of like interesting people that haven't been on panels with. Andre, super cool dude. Half Baked Tapes. Never seen you before. Seem reasonable. Dolphin, cool. Everybody's cool, even Roadman.
Thanks.
Yeah, so usually these go like really, really bad for me, but no, today was I ended up pretty happy overall. Like, I'm content.
We had other targets this time, so
You're right.
Thank you, Black American Made. Yeah. We this start the hype train. 53% done, 47% left. Less than 4 minutes on the clock. Can we make it to a level 2 hype train? Sub to the channel, give bits or give subs. Support this community. This is how we do it. This is the time. Jump on in. And help power this community into the future. So support this channel. I need your help. Tip the channel, sub, give bits or give subs. I'll do more of that later. Doobie. Thank you for being our Dark Lord and Savior. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm Doobie. Discord.gg/politics. You'll find me there. Subscribe to all these people. And yeah, thanks for having me on.
Exclamation point Dobby in chat for more of him.
Doobie. Okay, that's fucking
Dobby.
racist.
It's the Dobby is fine.
Next we have my man Sneaky Debate Man. One of my original panelists, right? And we get him every so often here, and it's a treat every single time. My brother from across the pond, Sneaky Debate Man. Tell a little about yourself.
You know, in my head, I've been designing a ranked system for debates, and I'm thinking I'm in like maybe like grandmasters, like masters. Andre's in like high diamond. Like he's like edging on masters, right? Like Bam is like is like high gold, like low plat maybe. Gambit is like he's done like all his qualifying matches and he's in like wood. He's like right down
So
there.
rude.
It's like he didn't even qualify for bronze or like plastic. He's in like wood tier. Like, he struggles to find a match because he's so low ranked. It's unbelievable.
Disrespectful, bro.
But yeah, no, I don't do outros anymore. Okay, right? If you know, you know.
You know. All right. 2 minutes on the clock. Let's see if we can get to level 2 hype train. Level 2 hype train. Sub to the channel. Get bits, good stuff. If you've been enjoying this content, we give you a lot of it, right? Then be so kind and support this community so we can continue on to the future. 2 minutes on the clock. 47% left. Let's see if we can get to level 2 hype train. All right. We will skip over the next person to go Roadman. Roadman, thanks for being here as well and giving your strong takes, right? Standing your ground. Only to be attacked mercilessly for it. Thank you, Roadman. Thanks so much.
It's your boy Roadman, the man with the plan. I'm the chain gleaming, Twitch streaming. All the these debate bros over here, they don't know what they're doing. I got the money, I got the cash. Stop by my stream, baby. We be doing this shit every day. I've been going hard. I've been grinding. Prime, thank you for the opportunity. All these guys on the panel, like. We argue. You guys probably think I'm a crazy person. That's fine. I enjoy the arguments. I'm glad to be on here and hope we can do it again. Thanks a lot.
Okay.
He's been grinding, but he's like hard stuck silver. Okay.
Because the Big Kumba and Red on Thought both getting 5 subs each. We're at a level 2 hype train. 90% done. 10% left. Almost to level 3 hype train. Let's make it happen. 4 minutes on the clock. Gift subs, gift bits, or consider subbing yourself and getting all the benefits of subbing. We'll go over that in a second. But before we do that, we have something very important. I'm glad we have a lot of time for me to do this. Hey, we have A4Andre. A4Andre. God, I've been dreaming about this moment, having A4Andre here, right? Like it has not been easy to make this happen, but he is here, dude. I was so happy, like to have you around, to interact with you. Like you're just so much fun. You're so good at this, right? Even especially when you're like not deliriously tired. But my man, A4Andre, I'm so happy. I would want to do more of this in the future, right? Have you around every so often. I know you can't do it all the time. I don't want to do that, but still, every so often. Could you come back, buddy, please?
Yeah, I would love to come back. I would love to do this again soon. Unfortunately, my audience, my content is largely around just me making money on Twitch. Hyper capitalists who may believe in socialism. It's a little counterintuitive, but that's my shtick. So while I'm live, I'll be addressing bad political takes in chat, but largely I'll be slanging these Pokemon cards if you want to open some of them because it's been pretty lucrative. I want to apologize to Prime for bugging him about time. I did not plan this really well. Sorry, the birthday party ran way too long. But yeah, if you want to catch some of the birthday party at twitch.tv/A4Andre. Some of the panelists today were good. Some of the panelists today were great, but all of you are beautiful. Roadman, the outro is money. The outfit is money. You're a little more on the inflation, but and Bam, you were fucking based today. I don't know how you normally get dunked on. You seem legit. Maybe leave post folks alone. Half base takes, definitely mostly based. Gambit, I love you. Sneaky debate, man. I'm hoping I can rank up and we can get this romance going. I want to be in the same.
Up there, man. You're right. You're up there, right
I'm
on the edge.
grinding, dude.
You're waiting for a breakthrough. I can feel it.
Both Dobby and DB seemed really cool. We didn't chat much, but Dolphin, I'd love to have you guys come by, panelists, and let's chat more in the future, please, okay. please. And I'm sorry, Prime, for bugging you.
No problem.
Andre, one thing.
It's time. Yeah. All right. So thank you.
One thing, Andre. Hold on. Before we go, Andre, the best socialists on this platform are capitalists. You got to remember that. That's what Hassan is. That's what Vosh is. All of them. Those are the best socialists.
We have less than 2 minutes left on the clock. 7% left. Let's get to level 3 hype train. Sub, gift bits, gift subs. Knock it over. Get to level 3, please. Because I have something important I have to do right now. Okay, it's time. A4Andre. I'm gonna sing you happy birthday. Everyone, get into it.
Oh no!
It's time. It's time. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday for Andre. Happy birthday
Hey,
You.
We'll start the
Yes,
group.
Thank
We're going
you
on the road.
guys. That was so cool. Thank you. I've honestly been in this chair. I haven't got to hang out with like friends and family for way too long. So that was like the first official celebration. That was really cool. And thank you very much. That means a lot to me. I appreciate it. I love you guys. Thank you.
Cool.
All right.
I think we now know the
well,
Jackson estate.
That's it. I'll let you all go. All right. Everyone, thanks so much for being here. Really enjoyed it. If you want to be part of the Open Walk On panel, then stick around. But if not, that's okay. Thanks for spending your time, your energy, your knowledge, and your passion in my community. I know they appreciate it just as much as I do. Have a good one. Bye.